Okay, Derek back, showing off the Smallisher. This is a small Demolisher where I've taken the launcher off. I'm so tall. I've taken the launcher off and put on the front of an old Spectre I had. I hated this Spectre. I hate the internals on this thing. I tried to take it apart and improve it, but kind of got sick of it. Shot okay. And you know what? This would look so much better using it for another gun. And you'll notice I just sawed this off of a Demolisher. And I was going to go technical, open it up, saw, make sure I did everything perfect. But I checked a couple of videos, and it showed that a Demolisher is basically a large strife. And when I put it up to the light, it was almost completely barren of any parts except for the very top part of it. I just took a saw right in the hand, sawed right through it, took it off, and had it JB welded to the front of a Spectre in almost no time. If you're wondering why I left this much space, it's just perfect. I cut off part of the top priming rail or priming area on the Spectre and cut off the tactical rail on the front of the Spectre and was able to glue it, and it would help me, you know, stick to the top of the Demolisher. It's also stuck in there. There's a glue point there. Now here's the biggest part about using a Spectre, or two of the biggest points for using a Spectre for this, is that as you can see, I sawed through the kind of bridge or jutting out part of the Demolisher. It looks kind of like the side of a ramp when you look at it from the side. I cut through it and it just perfectly fits around the side of a Spectre. And so it was clamping onto it a little bit on its own, so when I put the weld on, it gave me a great glue point on both sides, and it held it in when I held it up for it to dry. So did a pretty okay job for holding it in place. You see some air or gap in the shell on both. My sawing, as you can see, I did it by hand. I didn't judge it too well. It kind of sawed at an angle. I was just kind of impatient when I did it. I'll know better if I do this again. And because I cut so much off, it kind of leaves the Demolisher a little loose. I'm going to have to glue one side of it to keep the front barrel on. But it's working right now. It's not hurting it at all. But if I want to use the front kind of strap rail or rail on the top of the Demolisher, the gun, I'll have to glue it in place. If I cut too much of this, it won't make much of a difference. As you can see, get the missile off here. Probably better off shooting it. But this is just a little tube that runs to the back of this, and when you push, the air comes out. So honestly, this is just holding the missile in place. If you wanted to, you could probably shave almost all of this off, and this is going to stick firmly on this anyway. So if you want to minimize this even more, you could, but it would be harder for the tack rail to stay on. Shooting wise, I checked Mag212's video where he showed you could take this off, put hot glue in the plunger, and put some electrical tape on. I'm going to ignore that for now. I just put some silicone grease on the plunger to help it, you know, just move a little easier. And we're going to see how this thing fires, how stable it is. Great part about a Spectre, it does have the stock extension, so it lets you have the one hold a missile. So if you just wanted to hold this on like an HVZ loadout on a side, or just strap it here to your chest, it's small enough but large enough, if that makes any sense too. Large enough to use, small enough to be a secondary item if you want to use it for some targets in HVZ. You can't just shoot regular bullets, and sometimes you need more than a Mega Dart or a Vortex round or disc to take it out. So it's stable. Good old JB Weld held it on. Let's see how it fires. It's been a while since I've been out of here. I had those snakes to take care of, but that was just kind of a quick shot. All right, this time to go. I kind of shot off to the side, but it's shooting pretty much as good as it was as the bottom gun. I could probably do something like the Mag212 video said. I could put some hot glue at the front, make it shoot a little better. If you're wondering how well the tack rail works, especially with that little gap, here's a 3D printed custom 3D Nerf missile holder. And it is fighting me a little bit here, but because of that, it should fit on pretty well. Goes all the way to the back. Slides a little bit. That's a little disappointing. Let me get you on camera here. But I don't know why you would ever need to load up a side pistol with so many missiles. But, you know, if you're a fan of overkill, overkill is underrated. And as you can see, it does work. and it doesn't really slide around. So there you go. Smallisher with the added missiles. I probably will do something up here. It's not affecting any internals whatsoever. I can leave this like this, but I may sand or just cover this with something in the future, just so you don't cut or nick anybody with it. But that's it. The Smallisher is done. There we go. Kind of aiming off to the left a little bit. But Smallisher done. Okay, now let's move on when I try to take the missile off. Having fun with it. And thanks for watching, guys. Quit shooting to the left. Well, they're all shooting to the left. Probably because I'm trying to show up to the camera. Lean to the right a little bit. They're all shooting to the left. What's wrong with